This is Valley News Live at 4.
We begin with breaking news at 4 o'clock. Fargo police and SWAT have arrested a 29-year-old man in connection to an unsolved murder in South Fargo 2 years ago. Jesse James Burnett of Fargo was taken into custody just before 10 this morning. Burnett was arrested for his involvement in the drive-by shooting of 41-year-old Santino Mariel the evening of August 28, 2020 in Fargo. He is being held in the Cass County Jail on the charges of intentional murder as well as aggravated assault and reckless endangerment. Now, another suspect in the case, Joshua Brooks, was booked into jail on Tuesday, September 27th. Brooks is charged with being an accomplice to murder and accomplice to aggravated assault. Now, investigators say someone recently came forward with information about the murder, identifying Brooks as the driver of the vehicle during the drive-by shooting that killed Mariel. Now, court documents say Mariel was hanging out in a garage with two friends when a vehicle drove by and multiple shots were fired. Mariel was killed and the two friends were not hit. Officers recovered multiple bullets at the scene. Well, taking a look outside right now at our sky cam, things are looking pretty nice right now, but it's going to be a completely different story, possibly temperature-wise, in the next few hours or so. So let's head over to First Alert forecaster, Summer Schnellbach, to see exactly what we're seeing. Summer, you got a lot of snow behind you.
Yeah, Bobby, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We forecast a 1 to 3 inch range in parts of northern Minnesota, and that's what we got. Look at this scene here. It's spooky season. The snow falling down on those pumpkins. Snow on the deck near Lake Itasca. Thank you to Helen for the upload here. Don't put away the lawn furniture quite yet. It's not here to stay. The snow, anyways, that is. Here's a measurement. 3 inches of snow in Nebish. That's in Beltrami County. Thank you to Ryan for that upload. Here are a few more snowfall reports. Peposky, Minnesota, Ross, Minnesota, each picking up 3 inches of accumulation. Zirkle, Minnesota and Clearwater County, 2 inches of snow, and Karlstad, Minnesota and Kitson County, 1 inch of accumulation. Right now on satellite and radar, we're seeing some very isolated, very spotty showers, mostly rain, as temperatures are warm enough to support rain. However, we are chilly in the 30s and 40s. It's 36 in Bemidji, 39 in Thief River Falls, 43 in Grand Forks and Fargo, 46 in Jamestown. For tonight in Fargo, we're going to keep these cloudy skies, maybe a peak or two of sunshine, and Bobby, temperatures will be dropping down into the 30s. I'll let you know who's going to see some more flakes through the weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Summer, going to have a lot to go over. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you in a few more minutes. Well, new for you at 4, the student who sent a threatening email forcing Barnesville students into lockdown yesterday is out of police custody. He was released back to his parents. The district will not confirm whether that student is back in school today, but police tell us the threatening email contains specific details, including the time the acts of violence would occur during the school day. But the superintendent tells us that police determined the student had no means to carry out the violence that was threatened to students and staff. So in the school's eyes, the threat had been resolved. Now, some staff members are expressing concern, including, they say, not being instructed on how to talk to students about the threats.
There wasn't any concern expressed among students. So I think that's the same today too. So there isn't any need for any counseling or anything like that right now.
Some staff members at the high school have other concerns about how the threat was handled, and we'll continue to follow this story throughout the evening, and you can read much more about this situation on your VNL News app. Well, yesterday, numerous school districts across the area were impacted by swatting as fake active shooter calls were sent in. Now, in Fargo, Davies High School was targeted, but according to Fargo PD, there were signs that it could be a hoax. But they still took the call seriously and investigated the situation. Now, we talked to Fargo police about what exactly happens next.
We would have to determine what facts are known to us, what we're able to determine based off of the phone number that came in, are we able to trace it, all of those types of things. So we're going to investigate it to the fullest of our availability, and if we're able to find a suspect or somebody linked to the situation, then we're going to document that.
Fargo police say they will continue to investigate alongside their partners in the regional area and on the federal level. Well, today the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th assault on the U.S. Capitol says that it wants to hear from one other witness before it concludes its work. And that's former President Donald Trump. The committee voted to subpoena Trump to turn over documents and testify. Skylar Henry has more.
How do you feel, Mr. Trump?
Former President Donald Trump has responded to the January 6th committee's vote to issue a subpoena for his testimony and documents. In a 14-page letter sent to committee chairman Benny Thompson, the former president wrote about the anger and disappointment at the panel's actions, calling it a charade and witch hunt. Trump also slammed the committee for not looking into his false claims of election fraud and then appeared to side with January 6th attackers, saying the committee has targeted only those who were, as concerned American citizens, protesting the fraud itself.
The central cause of January 6th was one man, Donald Trump, whom many others followed.
The committee says Trump's election fraud lies fueled the attack on the Capitol.
We have left no doubt, none, that Donald Trump led an effort to upend American democracy that directly resulted in the violence of January 6th.
The committee reported that President Trump tried to come to the Capitol even as the attack was ongoing, but Secret Service agents stopped that from happening. New video shows House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's response that day when she hears the president may be coming.
Oh, he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is my moment. I would pay to see that. I've been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out, and I'm going to go to jail, and I'm going to be happy.
Other video, shot by Pelosi's daughter, shows leaders of both parties pleading with the Department of Defense to send in soldiers.
Cannot be just we're waiting for so-and-so. We need them there now, whoever you got. Okay?
Time to get testimony from Trump is running out. The committee has until the end of the year to wrap up its work. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The House Select Committee is working on a final written report, which it will release when it has wrapped up its investigation. Well, a campaign over whether to impose term limits on North Dakota lawmakers and the governor is a mismatch so far from a financial perspective. Now, according to the Associated Press, U.S. term limits, a Washington, D.C. based group, has contributed more than $810,000 in the past 2 years to get term limits on the ballot. Now, current lawmakers and opponents complain that they can't keep up with out-of-state interests. Supporters say that term limits bring in fresh faces and also increases voter participation, but many Democratic and Republican lawmakers have spoken out against the measure, but Governor Doug Burgum supports it. North Dakota is the only state where term limits are on the ballot in November. Well, some great news right here. An 11-year-old boy from Minot is the youngest person to bowl a sanctioned 300 game. Take a look at this. Tatum Lee says that he typically bowls 30 games a week, and this is it here in the 10th frame. The final pin going down, and celebrations just happen everywhere. Tatum says that his bowling average is around 200, and he started bowling for fun, but he and others quickly realized that he had a knack for the sport.
Whenever I would throw a strike or have a good game, they would say that's amazing. How do you do that?
And Tatum's father says that he is in an adult bowling league, and his group wishes they could recruit young Tatum to the team. Well, happening tomorrow, get ready for a lot of boos at the zoo. The Red River Zoo is holding their annual Boo at the Zoo event. The community is invited to dress up in costumes and trick or treat amongst the zoo's animals. And there will be vendors with candies, and proceeds will also support the zoo. Tickets are for sale online or at the door. Boo at the Zoo is every Saturday until October 29th.